There's blood in the streets for Bitcoin and Solana on the spot markets, but underneath the surface, the top 16 Solana picks that we've been talking about on this channel are starting to go absolutely parabolic. Where is the opportunity currently in the market? As always, it's an update on Bitcoin and Solana. Let's dive into the news and then we'll talk about the charts. Let's start off with the general crypto news. Donald Trump recently said Biden doesn't even know what crypto is, and if you like crypto, you better vote for Donald Trump. Biden's come out with the complete opposite approach, basically announcing his intention to veto legislations permitting banks to directly custody cryptocurrency, saying that it would disturb the SEC's effort to protect investors. And as we're speaking, the US House is currently voting to overturn the SEC rule, preventing highly regulated firms from holding Bitcoin and crypto. And here's some interesting charts which tie in with that news. These two charts down here show us the global liquidity index, which is currently sitting round about 30% of total liquidity. And according to the 65-month, 5 to 6 year liquidity cycle, it's looking to trend up to round about 90% where prior Pico tops have been. Now here's what's interesting about the 65-month liquidity cycle. The trend always heads up and peaks around the time of presidential elections. So as you can see down here, 2016, peak in global liquidity when we had Trump 2016, Biden 2020, peak of a liquidity cycle, 5 to 6 years, and also potentially Trump 2024 coming into 2025 could be the peak of this liquidity cycle. Now these long-term liquidity cycles also somewhat line up with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. However, it is slightly less prominent than the 65-month liquidity trend. So in summation, Trump is pro-crypto. The 4-year cycle for Bitcoin and crypto is here. The 65-month liquidity cycle is here. And the global liquidity index is only at 30% right now, looking like it wants to trend higher with more liquidity incoming. And as pointed out by Ben Cohen, the Bitcoin dominance plus USDT dominance is lining up very nicely with where rates were in their previous cycle. In my opinion, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Fed to cut the rates in attempt to stimulate the economy, further adding more liquidity into this cycle around the time of the elections. Now before we move on to the rest of the video, if you're enjoying it so far, if you like the alpha, smash the like button, leave a comment. We've got a storm of reasons to be extremely bullish right now. In other news, after some less than favorable economic data coming into this week, such as the unemployment rate going up, for some reason, the S&P 500 liked this. The S&P 500 is bouncing back very strongly in the past week, heading back to its prior all-time highs. Now let's talk about the Solana news, and I primarily want to discuss what's happened with the recent OR Twitter space. Now I listened to this 1-hour Twitter space and made some notes on my phone, so here are the takeaways. OR wants to make it easy for anyone to participate in the network and mine easily. Or will use a gamified proof of work instead of consensus proof of work. This allows for something called a self-difficulty adjustment slider, where the user can self-decide the difficulty depending on their computing power. As OR is built on top of Solana, it will also include proof of stake mechanisms such as proof of stake rewards. One idea bouncing around right now with the dev is that users can stake their mining rewards for, let's say, 2 years and receive a 2x rewards multiplier. This provides an incentive for miners not to Jeet their tokens and provides an economic value for holding. Unfortunately, OR will still stick with its 1 OR per minute, but hopefully with incentives to hold the tokens, sell-side pressure will be reduced, and ideally the floor will be created by miners, as the floor price of 1 OR will always be at or greater than the economic cost of mining that 1 OR. Those are the main takeaways from the Twitter space, and OR's price is doing very, very nice since they won the Solana Hackathon. This is still a project which I'm very, very bullish on. Now let's move on to the TA and start off with Bitcoin. I can tell from my comments, from my messages, from Twitter, YouTube in general, that a lot of you guys are very scared right now, and that kind of shows me that there's a lot of new people in this space, because coming over to corrections from the previous cycles, this is absolutely nothing. Bitcoin has not even corrected a full 25-30% yet. If we're looking at Bitcoin's bull market drawdowns, you can see these black bars over here are the percent drawdowns of this cycle, and they haven't even totaled 30%. In green, we see the 2018 cycle, and we saw drawdowns of 60%. In the 2017 cycle in blue, we saw drawdowns of 40%. In the 2013 cycle, we saw drawdowns of 75%. And some of you guys are currently pissing yourself over a 24% correction. This is nothing. Bitcoin is still extremely strong. In the lower time frames on the daily, you can see that we have been rejected from the point of control here, and it looks like we've been moving down since. We're currently trading in this descending channel. However, during this dip, we've seen a massive spike in the balances for whale addresses. Whales have been aping into this most recent correction. We can also see this on the Bitcoin addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin, namely institutions, big whales, this cycle, ETFs, etc. These addresses have been climbing to the upside. And we're exactly where we're meant to be in this current cycle. We've been holding around the previous all-time high for the past 10 weeks. In the prior cycle, it was 6 weeks. In the prior cycle, it was 10 weeks. Bitcoin is also holding strong, well above the 786 Fibonacci from the previous cycle high down to the cycle low. And coming over to the weekly time frame, we're still holding this massive parabola, once again for the past 10 weeks or so, retesting these previous all-time high levels. I can promise you, if you're scared right now and you're jeeting your bags for a 25% discount, you're not going to make it this cycle. But anyway, let's look at where Bitcoin is. On the daily time frame, you can see, unfortunately, we have fallen back into the falling wedge formation. So it doesn't look like we're ready for a breakout at this moment in time. In my opinion, it looks like there's a strong case for the floor being solidified around about $59,200. I really don't expect Bitcoin to drop beneath this level. And in my opinion, I think Bitcoin is just building a healthy accumulation range before we push up to the next level to the upside. Over on this chart on the bull flag as well, you can see there is another strong case to be made that 60,000 would be a strong level of support. This is pretty much what we drew out a couple of weeks ago. You know, the breakout, the retest, and then the push up to the upside. We obviously went euphoric a lot quicker than we expected. Well, at least based on this drawing. But in this drawing, we did draw a potential retest of this level here, around about 60,000. And this is still a very, very likely scenario in my opinion. Bitcoin is still in a massive, massive bull flag with a price target above 100K. There's no need to panic right now. So look, I don't want to spend a bunch of time looking at the Bitcoin charts because we've been talking about these in depth for the past few videos and we're really pretty much in the same patterns. Let's now move on to Solana. Now Solana's still looking good in my opinion. We talked about this previous fuck you reversal fractal where Solana dips beneath these levels that everyone says, you know, retail traders are like, we need to hold this floor, we need to hold this floor. We break it and then we parabolically slide up to the upside. Now, there's an interesting fractal here where you can see, you know, we had this kind of bottom formation, we dip beneath it and ping back up, and then we come back up to the top of the range and get a rejection. This is what we saw over here. Now, back here, this would look very, very scary. However, we corrected back down to the downside, we found a floor, we made a double bottom, and then we broke it on that next attempt to the upside, starting to make higher lows from this point. So, in my opinion, the low is already in for Solana. I think something like this is going to happen. I think the low is in. I think we're going to come back up. We're going to push above this level. We're going to retest somewhere around about here, making another higher low, and then we're going to push to the upside. This may take a week. This may take 2 weeks. This may take 2 days. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know this accumulation range has been happening for quite some time, and the longer we accumulate, the stronger the breakout's going to be. Solana as well on the weekly time frame is holding well above this green box that we needed to hold, between $144 and $126. We retested pretty much every level in this box and we're currently sitting pretty above it at this moment in time. 618, $164 is still the level to be. And Solana is exactly where it needs to be in this cycle, following what Ethereum's previous bull run did. $870 to $1.3 thousand. These are my price targets for Solana. $870 being the exact fractal from Ethereum's previous bull run. And if Solana gets to Ethereum's previous all-time high in terms of market cap, that would put Solana at a valuation of $1,300. All in all, like I said, Solana's still sitting pretty. It is outperforming Bitcoin for the past couple of weeks or so. It is outperforming Ethereum, heading up to new all-time highs. It's massively outperforming Matic, hitting new all-time highs. And it's massively outperforming Cadena, hitting all-time highs basically every single week this cycle and coming to take its previous all-time high against Cadena. So where's the opportunity in this market right now? Basically everything that we've been calling out for the past couple of weeks or so is exploding. We talked about ore supply. We told you to buy much, much lower levels. We made these videos on the top 16 Solana picks. We told you how the GIF meta, the dancing meme coin meta, was going to be extremely big this cycle. Since these videos, we've seen ore absolutely explode, smashing through and winning the Solana Hackathon. A lot of people found out about ore right down here at $132, and they started to buy when they started to find out around about $300 or so. This is where probably the VPVR is. Most people found out about ore round about these levels. However, the Cowboy family, we told you about ore so long ago. Some of my other dancing picks, such as D Biden, D Trump. Since the news of Trump being pro-crypto, there's been massive rallies in D Trump on the daily time frame, sending D Trump up over 360%. That is absolutely ridiculous. And then coming over to D Biden, even though Biden is against crypto, I think most of these Biden coins are just to make fun of Biden, and this D Biden coin that we talked about went up 250% in a day following this news. We were buying round about these lows. If you were part of the Discord, I told you to buy D Trump at a 3k market cap, and it's now at 500k. There's plenty of opportunities in the market. While a lot of people are concerned about the spot price of Bitcoin and Sol, if you've been part of the Cowboy Discord, and if you've been subscribed to the channel where we've been giving you all of these early calls, then you are laughing despite the spot price being down. Another good one is VCAT. There's an amazing opportunity in this right now. The last time I told you to buy in my previous video, it was at $2. If you faded at $2 and watched it go all the way up to $9, we've currently seen over a 50% correction, with the low being down here around about $3.70. So if you're looking for an opportunity to get in after fading at $2, this is a nice correction. VCAT, in my opinion, is going to $100 this cycle, placing its market cap over $110 million. And finally, CHONKY. This one, in my opinion, has the potential to be a blue chip with potential staying power. There's just so much going on with this. It's so brandable, it's so memeable. Their team is working non-stop, pushing out the product, backed by some of the biggest names, and it's been finding such a nice floor for absolutely ages now. When this gets ready to ping to the upside, it will rip violently. The way that CHONKY normally works is it accumulates for a very long time, and then all of a sudden some big whales just say, yeah, this is a good enough price, I'm going to buy in. And then it starts going up in a straight line, and then other people say, oh, CHONKY's finally moving, let me rotate my bags from other meme coins and get into this CHONKY pump. As you can see here, you know, when it was accumulating, like correcting, boom, within like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, it just jeeted months worth of accumulation out of the way. As you can see over here, it basically decides to accumulate for a long time, and then it just reverses in a few days. So if you're not careful, you might end up just missing one of these next stair steps to the upside to new all-time highs. I won't be missing out. I've already got my bags packed on CHONKY for quite some time now, and I'm looking forward to the next run to the upside. So here's the takeaway. Do your own research, find your own tokens, find your own coins, find your own high conviction plays, and watch them play out. That's what I've been doing on the channel. That's what I've been doing with all of these different tokens. I got told so many times, are you still in D Biden? Are you still in D Trump? It looks really dead at these levels. And then boom, everyone's starting to talk about it now that it's up 10x from the lows. When ore was down at $100, a lot of people said, are you still a fan of ore? Ore looks dead, I'm gonna G ore, don't like ore anymore. And then boom, they're starting to talk about it once again up at $500. And I held throughout all of these phases just because I had high conviction. I did my own research, I had conviction in my research, and I said, hey, this is worth, 10, 15% of my total portfolio. I'm gonna sit in it and watch how it plays out. That's how you make money in the cycle. Stop dipping between narratives, stop selling for a loss and then buying back when it pumps 300% and then saying, oh, my analysis was right all along, I shouldn't have cheated, I did a lot of research on this, I had a really high conviction play in this, I sold it at the low and then I bought it back at the high. Stop doing shit like that. Start buying good coins, start getting good alpha from people who are actually reputable and are giving good calls. Make sure you come and join the Cowboy Discord, where we've been giving you all of these tokens at much lower levels. Link to that down below. As always, the actionables, make sure you're mining grass. D-Pin's going to be big this cycle. You can start mining this for free, earn points, and when the token comes out, you'll be laughing. And if you haven't already, pre-order the Solana Chapter 2 mobile. When the alt season starts, and it's going to start very soon, if you've been watching the channel, you'll know why I think that's going to happen. Alts are going to go crazy, especially on Solana like they already have. Like I said, a lot of people are crying right now because Solana's down 5% in the past week on spot. But the Cowboy family, we're laughing. We don't care about a 5% dip on spot because OR is up 300% this week, because D Trump is up 10x this week, because D Biden is up 10x this week, because VCAT is up 2-3x this past week. When the alt season really starts kicking off on Solana, and it's already starting, there's going to be so many airdrops on the Solana Chapter 2. We've already seen $700 worth of airdrops. We're going to see another $700, and then we're going to see some more. Get the Chapter 2, start mining grass, referrals down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash like on your way out. See you in the next one. Peace.